warm welcome to the Truth Report. I am Mary Kanu. The top stories this week. Shocking new revelations. A Nigerian political leader uncovers 55 kidnapping camps in the southwest, exposing a deepening security crisis. Christian persecution in Nigeria escalates, sparking renewed calls for the redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu meets with Catholic bishops, pledging to uphold religious unity as sectarian tensions rise. And Prince Eniola Ojajani, president of the Afenifere Youth Council, a key socio-political group advocating for Yoruba interests, has come forward with shocking new revelations about Nigeria's deepening kidnapping crisis. During his 12-day captivity, a harrowing video surfaced showing Ojajani pleading for his life, urging Nigerians to help raise his ransom. The footage, aired by Truth Nigeria TV, underscored the brutal reality of a crisis spiraling out of control. Now free, Ojajani is exposing what he calls a vast and highly organized kidnapping network operating in Nigeria's southwest, an area not typically associated with the militant violence plaguing the north. He claims at least 55 terrorist camps are spread across 4 states, 27 in Ondo, 16 in Ekiti, 7 in Osun, and 5 in Ogun states. According to him, these militants are not just bandits, but well-equipped operatives using advanced technology to outmaneuver law enforcement. Well, Prince Eniola Ojajani joins us now to share his experience. Thank you so much for being here. Kidnappings have been a long-standing crisis in northern Nigeria. Did you ever anticipate such a highly organized network of abductions, spreading to the southwest?
I've never imagined in my life that such a terrible comfort crime can be planned in southwest. Do you know that we were 9 in number that was abducted on a daylight on a daylight? We were 9 in number that was adopted on that fateful 17th February 2025. It was well-organized crime, well-articulated, and ransom was paid to these criminals. Ransom was paid to these criminals. I don't ever imagine it, that such organized, unconstitutionally crime can be planned in Southwest. 9 people were abducted by this criminal, dressing in military uniform. 9 of them dressed in military uniform, and 1 of them will have to be their commander. You have to cover his nose, man. You have to cover his nose. You understand? So I don't imagine. And it's a wake-up to Southwest governor and Southwest leader that they must put every precaution to stop all this warrant attitude of these criminals that want to take over our land in Southwest.
Now, I must ask, as a Christian, and during such a traumatic ordeal, did your faith in God sustain you, or did you find it tested in ways you never expected?
When we were in the camp of those criminals, I sustained 2 bullets, and we were trekking to unknown destination. It got to a stage that one of them said they should free me because I have a sustained bullet injury. And one of them said, no, they can't free me. That if I want to be free, they will choose to kill me, or I should follow them. And I told them I'm going to follow them. At that point, my faith continued increasing. All I keep on asking, Holy Spirit, give me more power to walk. Holy Spirit, give me more power. Holy Spirit, touch this bullet, that this bullet shouldn't kill me. My faith, I keep on praising God, adore God, bless names. When about 7 people were about to be released, and then my money was not complete, and it looked like my hope wanted to be lost, I keep on to my hope and keep on to praying, keep on praising God, worshiping God until the Lord touched their heart. Because the Bible says the heart of king is the hand of God. And it was amazing that the people who said I should pay 100 million, they accepted 70 million, and the other government paid 6.5 million. So it's amazing that God came into that situation and God saved me, because it is not money that saved me, it is God that saved me. And my faith keep on increasing every day. since I'm back, I keep on giving God all praise for the wonderful miracle, because a miracle is a miracle working God, because you can't sustain an AK-47 for 12 days. And when the first bullet was removed, the doctor was saying that I should hold on to my God, because the first bullet was removed very close to my spinal cord. In fact, it was 50-50. And I sustained the bullets for 12 days. It's an amazing God. I will continue to bless his holy name. Thank you.
Well, God is good. Well, importantly now, your captors, seemed highly organized, and you revealed they have 55 kidnapping camps across 4 southwestern states. Can you tell us more about this? How did you come about this figure?
We were 9 number that was kidnapped. We were 9, and 7 were released. When the 7 were released, myself and other guy, the name was Dungu Garoba. So this guy, I will speak Fulani very well. So in the course of myself and this guy, we're trying to call our family to make sure that the money is complete so we can pay our ransom and go. So they keep on telling the guy that the guy should tell me that if my family eventually come with police or with the military or with the DSS, that they are going to kill me. And that process, they told myself and the guy, there was a woman that kidnapped about 2 weeks before we were kidnapped, that in the midnight, the woman was bad sick, and they have to bury the woman in their camp, that they have some numbers of camp in that state are listed, because for the sake of national security, I wouldn't want to go details. So those are the camps, and they took me to 5 of those camps where they keep the abduction and the case. So I was taken to 5 of this camp, and like I stated in my press statement.
All right, now Prince Eniola Ojajuni, the national president of the Afenifere Youth Council, thank you for your time, and please stay safe. Moving on, for years, Nigeria has been one of the deadliest places in the world for Christians. Islamist militants routinely attack Christian communities, burning churches, abducting women, and killing pastors and worshippers. In parts of northern Nigeria, entire Christian populations have taken refuge in displacement camps after relentless attacks by armed Fulani militants. A new report from International Christian Concern ranks Nigeria as one of the most dangerous countries for Christians, with at least 50,000 killed over the past 2 decades. Analysts warn this is part of a broader push to drive Christians out and impose an Islamist agenda. Truth Nigeria TV's Ebere Inyama tells us more.
The escalating violence against Christians in Nigeria has drawn global attention. In Washington, the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa held a hearing where expert witnesses unanimously recommended the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, a move that could lead to diplomatic pressure and economic repercussions. During a hearing titled Conflict and Persecution in Nigeria, the Case for a CPC Designation, Subcommittee Chairman Chris Smith highlighted the chilling statistic. 90% of all Christians killed worldwide each year are Nigerians. He blamed the Nigerian government for failing to protect its Christian population. The committee also directly named Fulani militant groups as the main perpetrators of Christian killings in Nigeria, a stark contrast to the Nigerian government's refusal to categorize them as terrorist organizations.
Make no mistake, all of these attacks are based on religion, like I said, and diverting attention from it denies that we have seen with our own eyes. This is religious cleansing. It needs to stop, and the perpetrators need to be brought to justice. Last year, the House Foreign Affairs did adopt my resolution, HRES 82, calling on the Biden administration to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. It passed exactly 1 year ago, almost a year ago, in the committee, but it never came to the floor. While I strongly believe that President Trump will again designate Nigeria as a CPC and do much more to assist the persecuted church, including the outreach to the Nigerian President Tinubu, last night I did reintroduce the resolution, and I hope we will have a robust debate and it will get marked up.
Following the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee's call to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern, many Nigerians are voicing support for the move. Veteran Nigerian journalist Everest Ezihe applauded the recommendation, condemning policies in northern Nigeria states where Christian students are reportedly forced to pay higher tuition fees than their Muslim counterparts.
Honestly, I am absolutely in support of the American Congress seeking for the President of America to declare Nigeria as a country of particular concern vis-a-vis the kind of discrimination that is happening between Islamic religion and those of us that are Christians. You can imagine in a country like Nigeria, now the Muslims are doing their Ramadan, 30 days Ramadan fasting. And what they did was to declare closure of all the primary and secondary schools in the 19 northern states of Nigeria. And in these schools, Christians are most of the students and pupils there are Christians. And now you have infringed them of that right because you are observing a religious right. Whereas when the Christians are doing their own, which is 40 days and all this, things like that, closing of schools are not being done because they don't want to infringe on other people's rights.
Others, like Nigerian activist Chris Nwokocha, criticizes what they call blatant religious favoritism by the government, pointing to recent closure of schools across several northern states.
And in the whole of the southern Nigeria, people like us won't even forgive any governor or forgive anybody who would want to kill Muslims because South, Southeast, and the whole of the southern Nigeria are dominated by Christians. And we wouldn't want anybody who would want to kill Muslims just because of their belief. No. Here in Owerri, you have a lot of Muslims. On Fridays, you see Muslims even closing roads to worship. You see Muslims moving around the whole of the place to worship. We like them. They are our brothers. So we should be able to accommodate them. And the same way I expect such things to be happening in other states, particularly in the north.
The persecution of Christians in Nigeria has been an ongoing crisis, with thousands killed in recent years. Religious rights advocates say the Nigerian government's continued refusal to acknowledge or act against the growing violence further erodes its credibility on the global stage. As pressure mounts on the US government to act, many are watching to see if President Donald Trump will move forward with the designation. For Nigeria's Christian population, the decision could mark a turning point in their fight for survival. Ebere Enyama, Truth Nigeria TV, Imo State.
Well, still talking security, with Christian persecution in Nigeria reaching crisis levels, Catholic bishops in the country have now confronted President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, urging him to take decisive action. But will their plea make a difference? Catholic bishops dressed in the ceremonial robes marched into Nigeria's presidential villa with a clear mission: demand action against the relentless killing of Christians. Across the country, priests are being abducted, churches burned, and entire villages wiped out in attacks many believe are part of a broader agenda to Islamize Christian communities. For years, Nigeria's government has downplayed the crisis, but with rising death tolls and mounting international pressure, Catholic leaders are now confronting President Bola Tinubu face to face.
In many northern states, the rise of morality enforcement groups, notably the Hisbah, has created serious concerns. While the promotion of moral values is essential, these groups have often engaged in acts of harassment and intimidation, particularly targeting innocent Christians and even Muslims who seek to exercise their fundamental freedoms. The enforcement of a strict interpretation of Islamic morality, influenced by the Wahhabi ideology, threatens social harmony and poses a significant challenge to community cohesion. Efforts should be made to ensure that religious practice in Nigeria fosters unity rather than division.
President Tinubu, a Muslim who ran alongside a Muslim vice president, insists he holds no religious bias and assured the bishops that security agencies are making progress in curbing terror attacks.
I want to be able to collaborate, work with you. Look at where we can, uplift our people. This is a great country. And we have to invest in the development of this country as citizens.
But to many Christians, those words ring hollow. More than 50,000 Christians have been killed in the past 2 decades. Security forces are not just failing to stop the violence, some have been accused of ignoring or even enabling the attackers.
If these people want to attack our communities, definitely you just discover that almost all the military, all the security personnel will not be available at that time. Then immediately after the attack, then you now discover the military roaming around the bushes and all that, trying to get, then they will only end up packing the dead bodies to the mortuary.
Despite the bishop's warnings, Christian persecution in Nigeria shows no signs of stopping. The question now is whether the government will act or if this meeting was just another exercise in diplomacy with little real impact.
Nigeria's agricultural sector is on the brink. Terror attacks are forcing farmers off their land, crippling food production and pushing millions toward hunger. How is this crisis reshaping the economy? We break it down after the break. Stay with us. Well, thank you for staying. Here's a rundown of today's top stories. A Yoruba political leader exposes a vast kidnapping network in Nigeria's southwest, revealing at least 55 terror camps operating across the region. Meanwhile, Christian persecution continues to escalate, with the new reports ranking Nigeria among the deadliest places for Christians. The question remains, will the government act? Nigeria, once a major agricultural powerhouse, is facing an escalating crisis. The country's farming sector, which once provided food security and significant export revenue, is now on the brink of collapse due to relentless terrorist attacks. In Kaduna State, Kajuru County alone, over 50 farming villages have been abandoned as armed Fulani militants terrorize communities, leaving once prosperous farmers displaced, impoverished, and unable to contribute to the economy. Mike Oda James has the story.
Sitting outside his temporary shelter in Mararaban Kajuru, 25-year-old Moses Matthew tells Truth Nigeria TV that the activities of Fulani ethnic militia, which includes kidnapping and killing of farmers, have forced many people, including him, to abandon their community.
We have issue of being terrorized, killed, and kidnapped by Fulanis people. Anytime our people go to work, they find it difficult. In fact, in some areas, you cannot even go. Some have even completely vacated their villages. So the life has been very terrible for our people there, and we cannot even stand it. In my own area, 4 villages have completely vacated. Nobody can go there.
Matthew is not alone. Across Kajuru County, the story repeats itself. More than 50 farming villages have been wiped out by violent attacks. Farmers who once export food product now rely on handouts in internally displaced persons camps, struggling to survive. Ado Alipiri, the chairman of Kajuru IDP camp and a farmer himself, described the devastation.
Another important point that let the bandits' activity to be more than last year is that Burinigwari have grant amenity and Chukun. I strongly believe it is that amenity that makes them to shift their activity from Burinigware and Chukun to Kajuru. Our security men, like soldiers and police, are tried their best. Only that the places that these people carry their activity is too far from the main road. Before the soldier could reach such places, they have already done their destruction and left.
The consequences extend far beyond Kajuru. Nigeria's agricultural exports, once a major source of revenue, have plummeted. Staple crops like rice, maize, and sorghum are in short supply, forcing Nigeria to increase food import, a sharp contrast from just a decade ago when the nation was largely self-sufficient. The result? Skyrocketing food prices, worsening inflation, and economic decline. The United Nations estimates that over 33 million Nigerians are at risk of hunger in 2025, with rural communities like Kajuru among the worst affected. For northern farmers, the loss is not just financial, it is a destruction of a way of life.
What we are facing here is a lot of problems. Seeing people gathering here for safety. They came from different villages around Kajuru local government to talk up here as IDP, those that have been sent away from their various communities and gather here in the IDP. We have so many villages that we are born completely. What is going on there is the moment they see you there, you become a target to them. They kill you. Sometimes they kill you and burn you. And if you are on a motorcycle, they kill you. They go away with the motorcycle. So that is why people run away. And this amnesty that the governor has granted in Bednangwari to us here is not helping us.
The road to recovery remains uncertain. Without decisive government intervention and improved security, Nigeria's agricultural collapse may continue, turning a once thriving economy into one defined by scarcity, poverty, and displacement. Mike Other James, Truth Nigeria TV, Kaduna.
Well, another deadly raid on Nigeria's Christian communities, this time the Adara tribe in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria. Armed militants stormed homes overnight, abducting dozens, but thanks to local resistance, most hostages were freed, while still 9 remain in captivity and a pastor was executed. Kajuru County has endured relentless violence for more than a decade. Local officials say more than 1,000 people have been kidnapped in the past year alone, and entire Christian villages have been wiped out. Well, for more on this attack, Truth Nigeria TV's Luca Biniat joins me now. Hello, Luca. Thank you for joining me. Now, this attack in Kajuru County is just one of many in recent years. Now, based on your interviews and records, what patterns have you observed in these attacks, and why do the perpetrators keep targeting this region?
Thank you, Mary. The attack in Kajuru on the native Adara, who are essentially Christian, is assuming a very worrisome dimension. This is because in the past 2 months, the rate at which the communities are displaced is getting unprecedented. As at last count, when we spoke with the chairman of the IDP camp in Maraban Kajuru town, which is some 40 kilometers south of Kaduna town, he said not less than 50 communities have been chased out, and thousands of Adara natives are in displaced. And he said the number of refugees that are in the camp at Maraban Kajuru is estimated at over 10,000 people. These people are living in conditions of destitution. They are without medical care. Their children are out of school. And to the, surprise of the IDPs, no government official has deemed it fit to go and see the conditions under which they are living. We believe that from what we have gathered from the IDPs, the major reason on the attack and the kidnapping and violence on the Adara people is to dispossess them of their land, is to also weaken them and impoverish them and make them incapable of returning to claim those lands.
Now, Luca, the volunteer guards played a crucial role in saving 30 hostages, but they are often outmatched in terms of firepower. So what are local leaders and residents saying about the government's response, and do they feel abandoned?
Okay, Mary. Yes, there has been stories of heroism on the part of the Adara youth. They have been able to, ward off some of the attacks and even rescue people. We have seen instances of young Adara persons who have come up with all kinds of injuries in the course of trying to defend their land. But most of the times they use locally fabricated firearms, machetes, clubs, sometimes even stones to face heavily armed bandits that normally come in large numbers. Some told us that they could number as much as 100, all armed. But out of courage and out of zeal and out of faith, they believe that they could, face them. And in some instances, they have been successful. But they have observed that in the past 1 month, after the Kaduna State governor publicly declared amnesty for the bandits who are in the western part of Kaduna, that is Briningwari and essentially Chukwu, that it will look like those bandits have agreed to stop attacking these areas, which are mainly Muslim, and they have concentrated to come to Kajuru and Kachia. They observe that the numbers and the frequency with which they come to attack has overwhelmed them. And so they believe that if government really wants to take care of this matter, they have to also find a means of engaging the Fulanis or arming them, supporting the youth to face the invading bandits.
All right, Luca Beniat, Truth Nigeria TV's correspondent, thank you for the update. Well, that's our report for today. Thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Stay informed, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.